You look at the eye, you see the glass capsules on it. Well, there are 32 glass capsules, and each capsule will hold 25 people. The London Eye rotates at 1 mile per hour. So you get on, you get off as it moves. It takes 30 minutes to do a full rotation of the eye. Now you can hire out one of the glass capsules for £1,000. People, they get married on the London Eye. There has been over 500 weddings, and it is in the top 10 places in the world for marriage proposals. So gentlemen, if you are feeling a little bit romantic today, and you're thinking about popping the question to your loved one, why not take her up to the London Eye and do it then? But gentlemen, a bit of advice for you all, make sure she's going to say yes. Because if you get all the way to the top of that eye to 12 o'clock, you get down on one knee, you ask her to be your wife, and she says no. It is going to be the longest 15 minutes of your life, back down to the ground with 23 people staring at you and someone who doesn't even like you. It could get very awkward, couldn't it? So you be confident when you ask the question. And ahead of us now we have Charing Cross. We're going to get you to wave and smile at the people as we go through the bridge. It keeps their hands busy and it stops them throwing things at the boats, which they sometimes like to do, to keep their hands busy as we go through. And keep waving, ladies and gentlemen, because there's another bridge the other side. So keep their hands busy as we go through. And if you look on the right, you have the Royal Festival Hall, which is the last remaining building from the Festival of Great Britain, 1951. The building on the right has the finest acoustics in all the world. It's drawn in a lot of big acts. People like Whitney Houston, who has sadly passed away. Michael Jackson, who has sadly passed away. Frank Sinatra, who has sadly passed away. And Amy Winehouse, who has sadly passed away. So we're just waiting now for Justin Bieber to play at the Royal Festival Hall. And judging by most of your reactions, well, it can't come soon enough, can it? And if you look in front of us, we have Waterloo Bridge. This bridge is built in a very expensive stone. This is a Portland stone on the bridge. It is self-cleansing. When it rains in London, it gets a little wash. Look underneath as we go through, you'll notice very dirty. For either side of the bridge where the water penetrates, it has a nice clean look. Very famous, this Portland stone from Dorset. And as we go through, on the left, building with a green dome on the top, this is Somerset House. It's where the royal family, they used to live before moving to Buckingham Palace. The River Thames used to go straight into the house. If you look on the road there, well, there's no point looking because there's a coach in the way. But just behind that coach, there is an archway. That's where the Thames, it used to go in. This building today is an art gallery. And there's a few kids on the boats. Well, I recommend kids getting your parents to bring you back to this house at Christmas time, because they turn the grounds of that building into the largest ice rink in the UK, all around the Christmas period. And guys, if you're looking for something to do, tonight or maybe this afternoon, there's a lot of things happen on the right hand side, which is the south bank of the Thames. There is a pathway. It goes from the London Eye down to Tower Bridge. You walk on that pathway, you'll come across some lovely old traditional pubs, traditional markets, street performers. That all happens on the right. And if you look on your right as well, there's something coming into view very shortly, which you probably thought you'd never see today in London. There is a gorgeous, golden, tropical, sandy beach. Now, who would have thought London has the finest beaches in the world? Now, on a day like today, this beach is usually very busy. The adults, they build sandcastles, they sunbathe, and the children, just as they are now, they like to run down to the polluted water and they pick up objects such as tyres and broken bottles. Now, they call this in London a traditional family day out. Take your kids on the beach. And if you look on the right as well, some of you might be familiar with the Oxo Gravy Cube. Well, this is where they used to make it on the right within Stamford Wharf. Name of the brand is at the top, OXO. Do not make the gravy cube in here today. They do that towards the north of the country, near Lancashire. This building is now been transformed. A nice shopping centre at the bottom, luxury apartments in the middle, and there's a very nice restaurant at the top, the glass-fronted Harvey Nichols restaurant. Voted in the top 5 in London. Great views from the restaurant. And if you look over here to your left, green slanted roof building, that's the Old City London School for Boys. It's where most of our statesmen, prime ministers, they've all been educated over the years. This is where Sir Winston Churchill had his education before going to Harrow College. No longer a school today, now been taken over by an American bank, JP Morgan. They are located in that building. And if you look up to the right, the nice shiny building, this is number 1 Blackfriars. They have a different name for this building in London. They call it the Kim Kardashian building. Something to do with the curve at the back, the Kim Kardashian building. Now, these are apartments in here. They start at £7 million. They go up to £40 million. If you pay £40 million, you live at the top. That is known as the penthouse suites. Now, as we go through the lowest bridges we pass underneath today, you can look down onto the river itself and you'll see the tide is moving past us. The tide is coming out of London at the moment. We're on the ebb tide. It takes 7 hours for the water to go to the North Sea. It then gets to the North Sea and it comes back into London on a flood tide. About 5 o'clock later on, a little bit later than that, this boat will be around 7 metres higher. That's how high the tide will be today. And here on the right hand side, the large concrete building with a tall chimney, the old Bankside Power Station. Today it's home to the Tate Modern Art Gallery. Now, this building on the right, it is free to go inside. It doesn't cost you a penny. Now, I can assure you, once you enter that building, you have a good look around. You are probably going to start to realise why it's free to go inside. Unless anyone likes modern art. Does anyone on this tour like modern art? One person. You have a great time. For the rest of you folks, look up to the left. This is a piece of art. that is St. Paul's Cathedral. Has the dome on it with the golden cross. This is St. Paul's. Now I'll give you a little bit of advice about the cathedral. If you go there Monday to Saturday, ticket prices £35. If you go there tomorrow at 10 o'clock in the morning, it is free of charge. Every Sunday there is a service completely free. It's a fantastic experience. Now of course, because it is free, what they ask you to do, as they do in most churches around the world, they ask you to make a donation. So once the service is complete, you're going to see a gentleman. He walks around that church with a silver champagne ice bucket. If you've enjoyed the service, you throw some money into the bucket. Of course, it's very quiet inside, so they let you know they prefer the silent collection, which is a 5, a 10, a 20, or even a £50 note. It's a very old tradition, St. Paul's Cathedral. And ahead of us now, we have Southwark Road Bridge. It is the halfway point on our journey today. Now, Southwark Road Bridge was built to ease the congestion of the old London Bridge. When they built Southwark, they built it in the back roads of London. That means not many people can find it. They always say if you find yourself on this bridge, then you are lost, or you are drunk, or you could be both. So if you see anyone up there today, give them a little wave. They've probably been lost in London for hours. So give them a little wave as we go through. As I mentioned, this is the halfway point. Is everyone enjoying the live commentary so far?
Yeah.
All understand me okay?
Yeah, it's very good.
I'm trying to speak a little bit slower. Don't usually talk like this. There is nothing wrong with me. It's all for you guys. Hopefully you can understand. And a very nice pub here to the right, the Anchor Tavern at Bankside, was founded in 1615. Produced some films in there before, Getting Him to the Greek, Mission Impossible, even James Bond, all filmed in that pub. Me and my friend who's driving the boat, we do spend a lot of time in that pub. We go to the pub after work every single night. We do research in the pub. We research this commentary which we provide you all. It takes hours and hours, but it's all for you lot. Nice place for that research. You want to come and join us tonight, 8 o'clock for the research. Now children on the boat, if you look on the right, you can see a pirate ship. That is Sir Francis Drake's Golden Hind. He was the first Englishman to sail a boat around the world. And that one that you see in the dock, that is in fully working order. That's been sailed twice around the world. That's the Golden Hind on the right. And does anyone know the name of the bridge ahead of us here? Any guesses? Correct. This is London Bridge.
Yeah.
It's even got it written on the side. London Bridge is the 5th one to stand in over 2,000 years. The bridge before this, the 4th one, it was sinking into the Thames mud. They took it down bit by bit and stone by stone. They sold it to an American oil tycoon. His name was Robert McCulloch. Now what he done with this bridge is he shipped it over to America and he had it rebuilt over Lake Havasu in Arizona. Robert McCulloch didn't come to London to see the bridge. He thought he was buying the other London Bridge. Apparently when that bridge turned up on the ship and he opened up the box, he wasn't too happy. He only paid $2 million for that. No way he was going to get Tower Bridge for that price. And there's the Shire Glass up to the right. That's the tallest building in Western Europe. over 1,000 feet tall, double the height of the London Eye. You go into the Shard of Glass, you got restaurants and bars in there, a 5-star Shangri-La hotel, and on the 72nd floor, a viewing platform. Now folks, if you go to the viewing platform today, it's a clear day in the city, you will see 40 miles in all directions. So that's the Shard up to the right.
Gunships.
And this building on the left, behind the trees with the clock at the front, Water Guard House. It's home to the Customs Office. All the illegal contraband, substances and drugs which make their way into the UK when they're not meant to, they're taken to that building on the left. They are meant to be incinerated. Now if you look on top of that building, you'll notice there are 6 black chimneys. Now ladies and gentlemen, I've worked on this river now for 10 years and I have never seen a puff of smoke from any of those chimneys. We always hear regularly, there are Christmas parties there, they're absolutely spectacular. So this is Customs Office. Now we're meant to be stopping here to the left where you see the other boats. This is Tower Pier. We're not going to stop straight away because what we do for you, we'll take you down to Tower Bridge, we'll turn the boat sideways for you and we'll get you a nice photo from the right hand side. So that's what we're going to do. So as we head down to Tower Bridge, I will tell you a little bit about it. Tower Bridge was finished in 1894. It was designed by Sir John Wolfe Barry. Now folks, I'm sure you're all aware, that bridge ahead of us, it can open up. It opens like a double-sided drawbridge. It takes 90 seconds to fully open. The bridge is open 365 days of the year. There's only one day that bridge, it will not open up. Can anyone guess on the boat which day it could be? New Year's Day. Christmas Day. It's also very popular. You will kick yourselves when I tell you, because the only day it will not open is the day of the London Marathon. There are 40,000 runners. They run across that bridge, and apparently if we start to open it, well, it would spoil the race. So we leave it shut for the marathon day. I've always said though, just open it a little bit, give the runners a little hurdle, make the race a bit more exciting. Only time it won't open. Now look on the right as well, you'll notice Tower Bridge is built in a Gothic style. The reason it has that decoration to it is so that it blends in with its close neighbour, which is in the corner, the Tower of London. Has anyone been to the Tower of London before? Quite a few of you actually. Well, I'm glad you've been there, because that castle on the right, absolutely steeped in history. 1078 it was built for William the Conqueror. Most famously known, the Tower, as a place of execution and torture. If you were found guilty of treason years ago, you were taken in through Traitor's Gate on the River Wall. You were taken up to Tower Hill, and your head, it would have been chopped off. Once your head was chopped off, they put it on a spike, they dipped it in a barrel of tar, and they put it on the old London Bridge to warn off any wannabe traitors. Unfortunately, we do not have these punishments in London today. We now got far better ones. We got our thing today called community service and rehabilitation centres. We now send them to holiday camp. They get 3 meals a day, they get a PlayStation, they come out a new person. We've got much better ways of dealing with the traitors today. We also keep the king's jewellery in there. The crown jewels, they're all kept within the castle. So folks, what we're going to do now, if you can be so kind, just to take a seat, we're heading into Tower Pier. Now as we go into the pier, we might have a little bump. We don't want anyone getting hurt, so please take a seat as we go. Now folks, have a look around you as we come alongside. Make sure you've got all your belongings. We're going to Greenwich next. Greenwich is our next stop. If you don't want to go to Greenwich, leave us here, speak to the pier staff. We're off to Greenwich. As I say, have a look around you, make sure you've got all your belongings. Did everyone enjoy the live commentary coming down the river today? Enjoy yourselves. Please. No stop. No stop. Now that's very nice of you folks. Thank you for the round of applause. I said at the start we're not professional tour guides, which we're not. We're members of crew. We do a commentary on these boats, a very old tradition on the Thames. Plus if we don't talk to you, then no one will. It becomes a mystery tour. So that's why we like to give you a commentary on the way. Now as the crew, we're responsible for every passenger and this boat to get you safely around the river, which we've done today. But we like to do a commentary, as I say, an old tradition on the Thames. So folks, if you have enjoyed the tour today and you feel as though the commentary has added to it, you would like to show a little token of appreciation, well you can do so as you leave the boats. You will notice on the exit gate will be the captain's silver champagne tip bucket. And it looks like this. It's going to be on the exit gate as you leave. If you enjoyed the commentary, you can throw a few bob in it as you go. You're not too sure what a few bob is? We do accept American Express, 5, 10, 20, 50 pound notes. And if you're wondering what happens to all the tips that go in the bucket, well, they do not get wasted. They're all going to be going back to that intensive research, which we carry out later in that lovely pub that we went past. And you're all invited for that research. Folks, have a lovely day in London. Thanks for joining us on the river. Have a safe onward journey, and thank you all for your kind attention. Have a nice day and goodbye. Thank you.